Drew Dober is the ultimate Giga Chad of the UFC. In addition to his credentials as a top-tier lightweight contender, Drew Dober is also known for his Chad-like attitude when it comes to combat. Despite him never reaching the top of the lightweight division, Dober is the lightweight with the most wins by knockout. And it makes sense. Dober has tremendous power, but also a tremendous chin. When speaking of the best chins in the UFC, there is a short list of athletes, like Kelvin Gastelum for example, or even Nate Diaz. These fighters can take damage and not fall. However, Drew Dober's recent performances have scientists questioning if his chin is actually made of titanium. When faced with McKinney, the man that holds the record for the fastest knockout in the UFC, Dober had a challenge. Dober could equalize McKinney's power, as he also had the ability to make someone go night-night. But could he take shots? Within 5 seconds, McKinney tagged Dober and wanted to end the fight.
Minutes and 3 seconds is the extent of the win streak for Terrence McKinney.
Even after a high kick and a flying knee, Dober stood back up and the commentary team was baffled. Drew Dober absorbed damage in the first half of the round. However, at the end of the day, a vicious knee followed by some ground and pound would put McKinney away.
He's trying to hang on. Dober really laid it on here, Brendan. Wow! McKinney wins!
Dober's ability to take hits and keep on moving forward makes him the ultimate Chad, especially against a dangerous man in Terrence McKinney. Drew Dober's style of fighting with his chin up and throwing looping hooks is super exciting. Despite taking damage at times, it is like he is bulletproof. Dober is completely fine with taking shots if it means he gets to land his own.
Ooh, nice right hand backing up for Hernandez. Now he attacks.
Against Hernandez, Dober would get tagged, however, he'd keep moving forward. He'd eventually find the big shots he wanted to land. Hernandez could no longer take shots, and Herb Dean called it a fight. When Giga Chad smells blood, he goes for the kill. And it doesn't really matter who you put in front of him, he will not be scared. Dober's improvement in the wrestling department is also what allows him to excel in striking.
It's fantastic because coming from a Muay Thai background, I had a hard time fighting guys that constantly moved. So with me and Oscar Martinez, he taught me how to move my feet so I can stay in place to land bombs.
His comfort with getting back up when taken down is superb, and he is able to preserve his energy. A fight with current champ Islam Makhachev hindered Dober from doing what he loves most. Makhachev's annoying crotch-sniffing style was a valuable lesson for Dober, despite the loss. And losing to Islam is nothing to be embarrassed about if you are Dober.
Too easy. Defensive here off of his back.
Look at the shoulder pressure though. Look at Dober's face.
His recent strings of wins have fans raving about him even more. After all, Drew Dober is the reincarnation of Johnny Bravo with fighting skills. Dober is what people think about when hearing the words "just bleed." And I'm almost positive this is the image people think about when talking about Dober. After all, that is the reason they call him the Giga Chad of the UFC. When matched with Bobby Green, fans knew to expect a complete banger. Green is a loved fighter and will always put on a show. Bobby Green knows how to stand and bang, and for a man like Drew Dober, that is absolute perfection. Early in the first round, Green tagged him, However, in typical Dober fashion, he kept on moving forward. Green was clearly winning the first round. Despite landing everything, Dober would not fall to the ground. Dober, being the Chad he is, knew he had to make changes. Drew Dober knows how to end a fight, and obviously he can take it as well as he can give it. It truly doesn't matter if you are a million rounds up on Dober. He can still find a way to make you go night-night.
He's sneaking it in there to that liver. Ooh, nice left hand by Dober there. These guys are trading.
Man, but you see that.
Which is what ultimately makes him the Chad of the UFC. Dober is arguably one of the most entertaining lightweights. However, he has lingered around the rankings for far too long. Dober's extensive evolution in the sport is preparing him for his next bout. He will take on Matt Frivola at UFC 288, a man that, like Dober, can knock people out. However, unlike Drew Dober, he can get tagged and put away.
Wild exchange.
Despite that, Frivola is a hungry fighter, and Dober cannot count him out. Regardless, it will be a banger. If Dober does win, he's placed in a position where he can fight the funnest of men in the division, including Chandler or Poirier. Even a bout with rising British promise Paddy Pimblett can happen. His entertainment has us all on the edge of our seats, and we know that we do not want to miss a second of a Drew Dober fight.